let's see, we're going to turn the volume off on this. Should be good over here. Why can't I see myself? I don't know if anybody else actually wants to see myself. Hey, it looks like we are live on YouTube. That's exciting. We didn't break too much stuff along the way. I'm going to share my screen here because today I want to talk about real world behavioral targeting and the opportunity that presents brands as we see more Apple iOS restrictions inside of the Facebook ad platform, with Google up against I think at this point, like a 40-state antitrust lawsuit. How can brands take advantage of real-world behavioral targeting to completely circumvent big tech? I'm going to share my screen here in just a second. We can rock and roll through this. I think y'all are going to get some value out of it. Let's see. You've got that screen up there, and if I can find my screen, we'll be doing all right. Oh, it's over here. Hang on. There it is. Got it. All right. So check it out. As the online and offline worlds continue to merge into one, customers really want one thing, to get what they want when they want it in a way that's convenient for them. So whether that's to find a new landscaping service, deciding where to have dinner, or buying something online that you never even thought you needed from a brand you've never heard of, HelloWish.com. And while most brands and marketers compete for the attention of intention, that low funnel shopper, very few compete for the moment that creates the reflex of intent. And that's the opportunity we're going to talk about here today. So to get an idea of how you define the right moments for your brand to engage your perfect prospects, we use the trust commitment axis. This helps us to determine how well your brand is established with the audience you care most about, and in what ways they're likely to engage with you along their own customer journey. The way that a customer engages an established high commitment brand like Lexus is very different than a low commitment purchase with an unknown brand like that new taco truck that parks down by the winery on Saturdays. So unfortunately, the old way of influencing these moments online has become very expensive and progressively less effective. But we've learned some really helpful things that make doing that in the real world effective, efficient, and easy. You see, in every customer journey, there are 4 key micro moments, and these are the opportunities that brands have to trigger a digital reflex that helps customers get to know them, get excited about going somewhere, gives them ideas on a new thing to do or try, or to solve a problem and ultimately sell them something. See, once you define your moment, the moment that's most important to you to influence, it's important to understand how the different types of targeting available actually work. Online, we use 2 types of targeting: deterministic and probabilistic data tables, which help us build user personas. Simply put, we take things we know about people and things we think we know about people, and we target them based off of that. But with 1 in 4 people using ad blockers and increasing concerns around privacy, this data is becoming less reliable, and there are fewer options that are available, which is leading to increased costs and a decreased return on investment. And guessing just isn't good enough anymore. It's not a part of a strategy. Guessing is not part of a strategy. So let's move on from that. So one of the things that makes OneScreen unique is that we combine what we know about your perfect prospect online, what we know about them in the real world, and what we're pretty sure they're interested in and doing, and the moments in between, which makes the next part, reaching them in the real world, actually pretty easy. You see, the key difference with OneScreen and out of home in general is that we reach real people in the real world in real time, which means that we're not guessing at our targeting. We know the types of people who are inside of physical spaces, spending money on the things that they care about. And that real world behavioral targeting is probably the most refined targeting any marketer could ask for. So we take what digital marketing online has taught us, and we add a very important element, which is that real world behavior. Let's use an example of Trevor and Ralph. Trevor recently went out of town on a business trip, and he stayed at a hotel. Before he left for his trip, he dropped off his dog Ralph at the kennel. The next morning, he walked downtown from his hotel to get a coffee. While he was waiting, he saw an ad on the TV behind the counter for his favorite paddleboard brand. They were offering 10% off their new line of paddles. So he scanned the QR code coupon on the screen with his phone and went back to his hotel to get ready for his day of meetings. That night, when he was walking through the lobby, he saw another ad from the same paddleboard company. This time, it was promoting a contest on Instagram to post pictures of you and your dog paddleboarding. It reminded him of the coupon that he had scanned in the morning. So when he got back to his room, he entered the contest by posting a picture of him and Ralph, went onto the site and bought himself a new paddle that he had shipped home. So when he got back, him and Ralph could get out on the water. That's the power of real world targeting, knowing where people are in the real world, giving brands the ability to set the same targeting that we've become used to online, but executing campaigns in the real world. So whether that's a screen behind the counter, whether that's a digital billboard driving down the road, understanding movement, understanding people and where they are in the real world is a huge opportunity for brands to work around some of the big tech restrictions. Here's how we use it at OneScreen. We want to understand how your customers ultimately engage with you and give you money. Is it online? Is it offline? Is it both? If it's online, great. Do you have targets in mind geographically? Or would you like to use the same custom audience approach that you do on Facebook? All we need is an Excel file with name, email, zip code. If you're an offline business, great. Do you have a brick and mortar location? Do you provide a service in a certain region or area? If you got a brick and mortar business, we'll let you know where your best customers are. Where do they come from? Where do they live, work, and play? Where are the other places that they go? If you've got a local service business, great. We can do a custom audience, again, just like Facebook, but for the real world. And if you're both online and offline, even better. We'll help you get more of your best customers to come back more frequently, spending more money with you, and find more customers like them. So the lookalike concept is also applicable in reaching customers in the real world. So now that we understand the moment we're trying to influence and who we're trying to target, let's see how we actually do that. This is an example of a digital screen allocation to reach your perfect prospects in the real world. By using a platform that compares your goal against your target audience, we can determine how to best reach them in the real world with the right reach, right frequency, contextual relevance, ultimately to create the reflex, the reaction that you care most about. You'll become a part of your prospect's daily life. When they go to get coffee or they go to the mall, they go to pick up their kids from sports, on the way to the gym or on the weekend with friends, you will be there. And that builds trust, authority, affinity, all the things that we need to move people down the funnel. On top of that, you're going to help make your other marketing work even better, be more efficient in the other things that you do because you're able to retarget those same people online. So the idea of being dependent on Apple for targeting, or, as data consent really becomes the next revolution, you're able to build your audience in the real world and own that audience start to finish. We've been working with a lot of D2C brands on doing exactly this to circumvent the restrictions of big tech and be better stewards with customers' data. All right, the $1 million question: how will we know if it's all working? We're very similar in concept to Facebook ads. So you can look at things like through play, cost per through play, reach, frequency, impressions, some of the higher level top of funnel metrics, which is always helpful to have a similar analog. Also, if you have a brick and mortar location, or if you compete online with a brick and mortar location, we can determine which ads that you're deploying in the real world have the most overlap against people who go to a specific place and spend money. So on the screen, you see a couple of billboards that we're comparing against customers who go to Walmart, who actually go there and do their shopping. So understanding which ads are most effective in reaching your target audience, again, that concept of finding more customers like your best ones and finding your best customers in the real world, custom and lookalike audience. This is how we can measure that for brick and mortar business or against one. One of the last ones, and maybe the most exciting, is can we drive more Google search? Obviously, a lot of brands spend money on Google paid search. So if we can drive more search, if we get more people clicking on your links, that's ultimately going to drive up quality score to have higher click-through rates, which results in a lower cost per click. We did this in January. And what we found was that by increasing digital impressions in the real world by 145%, we drove down our cost per click by 38%, and we drove up the amount of Google search for our branded search terms by 331%. We did all that for less than $2,200, which is pretty exciting. And we think that that's just good marketing, right? Good marketing is marketing that works and does good too. It adds value for the customer by being targeted and being relevant to what they care about. It does good by being measurable and giving brands the ability to predictably scale customer acquisition and build brands simultaneously. And it does good by putting money into the pockets of small business owners instead of big tech. That's what good marketing is. When you do good marketing, it wins hearts, minds, and dollar signs. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll see y'all next time.